Awesome. Yes, we've started our webinar today. So dumelang Botswana. Today we are having our careers and employability webinar on data and technology. I am Naomi, Kgalaletsang Naomi Chimoli, BSU president, and today I am joined by none other than Miss Pako Lekoko. She is the founder of Runway Projects. It is an initiative and organization that is aimed at helping students in Botswana who intend to study abroad, helping them to prepare and equipping them for life overseas. And she is also the founder of a data company, Zaidi Consultants, of which we will hear more about throughout this webinar. But welcome, Pako. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me. How are
Thank you so
you?
much for coming. I'm great. I'm excited for this conversation. I'm excited to learn. I'm doing data at school, and so I'm really excited to hear about, what you have to say, how the
Yeah,
data field is, and just get to hear more about your background, your story, and what you're doing now.
yeah.
So just to start us off, if you can just let us know, who is Pako? Where does she come from? What's her educational background? And what is she doing now? So who is she? Where does she come from? What's her educational background? And what is she doing now?
Okay, so just to qualify, where do I come from in terms of where my home village is?
Wherever you want to start.
Okay, my name is Pako Lekoko. Um, I'm from Botswana. Uh, so obviously my heart will be in Botswana, which is why when starting the runway, that was my first sort of thought around where to focus, right?
Yeah.
And also that's why I ran back home after finishing uni. I was like, "Hi, Chile, guys, let's go."
I don't feel fingers. I don't well and go high.
But yeah, born, bred, raised, yeah, in Blokwing.
Okay.
So ke ngwanyana toropo.
Mm,
Um, Sheesh, my educational background. So let's start off with maybe just from high school. So I did my actually, I think it's relevant that I start earlier than that. So I did my junior secondary education go Mauka Junior Secondary School. And then I finished Form 4, Form 5, so senior secondary, I went to Naledi. And the time when I went to Naledi Senior Secondary School, it was around the time when we had that like huge civil servants strike in the country, with teachers kind of leading the pack.
yeah.
And we weren't learning for a very long period of time. And my mom was like, okay, that's enough. And then she actually took out a loan to take me to school. So I was a student at Rainbow High School, Form
Yeah.
4, Form 5. Form 4 gets an like middle of second term. So that was a big adjustment.
Yeah.
And then after I finished my Form 5, I qualified for the Top Achievers program.
Mhm.
Then I did my A levels. I continued doing my A levels on a Rainbow.
Yeah.
So AS A2 after A2, still on the Top Achievers scholarship, I went on and did a BSc honors, yeah, actuarial science with a year in industry at the University of Kent. Um, After my actuarial science, no, during actually, I did my year in placement at Deloitte Consulting here in Botswana. Um, and then I did a bit of time at Deloitte LLC Go Leeds, still in the consulting department. Um, I finished my undergrad, I went on to do a postgrad, still at the same university. I know a lot of people are always, I think
The-
the advice is like, oh no, switch universities so you explore. I was like, guys, you want me to go and now have to readjust at another place?
I
I'm
had to
fine.
readjust again after it took me 18 months to readjust. Now I have to take another.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I definitely
So
understand
I
that.
was, yeah, I was comfortable at Kent, and also I loved what the course content of the course at the University of Kent was.
Mm,
So I decided to stay there. I did an MSc in business analytics.
okay.
After finishing my master's, but they late, right towards the end of my master's program because it was during COVID times when things got a bit crazy with lockdowns
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yes.
So towards the end of 2020, I came back home. And at that time, I was doing my dissertation.
Mm.
So I finished off my dissertation in the comfort of my mother's home
In Botswana,
and in
BW.
Botswana. When I finished, 3 months later, I was headhunted by a consulting company here at home, Growth Matrix Solutions, and
Mm,
I consulted with them for about 2 years or so. And then after that, I started my own consulting company,
mm.
which is Zaidi Consulting,
Yeah.
where I work now, where I'm a full-time and sometimes overtime employee.
Overtime.
Yeah.
Yes. The life of a founder.
Exactly.
That is so amazing. I loved hearing your story. I loved hearing your background, your pivots, and the experience that you got. And I think for a lot of Botswana students in the UK, I think well, we have that thought running at the back of our minds to say, okay, what's my plan after university? Or even during university, how do I get that internship? How do I get that placement? Because for some students, getting that placement is a challenge because you're competing with students in the UK, with other international students. So we're having to juggle our degree and trying to find work experience to make us competitive in the job market. And so I'd just like us to get to when you were speaking about your placement, because you said your BSc had a year in industry, which a year in industry, which you took at Deloitte in Botswana
Yeah.
and Deloitte in Leeds, if I'm correct. Right. So I think before we talk about your placement in industry, which I know many students will be excited to hear about, I just want to
Mhm.
talk about like your passion for numbers, for analytics, for actuarial science. How did that start about? What sparked your interest into getting
Mm.
into actuarial science and then pivoting into the business intelligence side?
Hi, I don't know. I was born like this.
You're born like this.
Um, I think I've always kind of had a liking for numbers over words, if I can put it that way.
Yeah,
Right from primary school, as far back as I can remember, numbers made
yeah,
more sense to me.
yeah.
Um, because at no point would a number be pronounced differently or would mean something different. You
Mm.
get what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, it's
So,
just as straight as an
exactly.
arrow.
It
Yeah,
always made sense. So
yeah.
I've always been drawn to mathematics. I've always
Mm.
been good at mathematics.
Yeah,
And it was just sort of the natural thing.
yeah.
This is probably not a good thing to say, but I think I tend to get very disinterested quite quickly if something doesn't keep me engaged.
Oh
So
yeah.
with actuarial science, it was this new thing that people were talking about that was
Mm.
very hard for other people, and it included, fundamentals or yeah, fundamentals from your eco
Yeah,
business, wara
yeah, yeah.
wara, you bring it
Maths,
together
all
with
these
math,
things.
right?
And it's just this big thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. It combines
Mm.
all the different sort of subjects that I enjoy. Let me do a
Yeah,
bit of research around this actuarial science. What exactly is it about? You
yeah,
know? And I did my research and I'm like, okay, I can see myself doing this. I really
love it.
can.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd seen a movie. I'm trying to remember what movie that was. I
Oh,
think it was
wow.
1,000 Words. Um,
Okay.
like Eddie Murphy starred in. I think it was a
Mm.
thousand words.
Yeah,
And, he had gone into this meeting where he was explaining all these things and there were trends. And in movies how sometimes you see like little kids when they
yeah,
see something that is ultimately their their purpose or their calling,
Oh,
like they're just
yeah,
drawn
yeah.
to it and they're like,
They're
I
just
think
drawn
that's
to it and attracted to it. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's kind of what
yeah,
happened with me when I saw
yeah.
that movie. I was like, this
Hmm.
is interesting. I want to do that. I don't know what that
Uh,
is, but that seems
But
like
I'm gonna
something that
do
I
it.
want to do, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And when I found out more about actuarial science, I was like,
Mm.
oh, that sounds like that movie. The Elon
Mm.
So it sounds
Yeah.
like the kind of stuff that I would be doing.
Yeah.
Um, so I think in essence, that's really what happened.
Yeah.
I got a lot of advice that I didn't ask for from people. And the advice was always,
Unsolicited
hey,
advice.
exactly. The advice was usually on some, hey, actuarial science is hard. Tata, you sure you want to do it? A lot of people
Yeah.
have started and not finished. And it's like, yeah,
Mm.
but I mean, the truth is, I'm not those people. And we don't know why those
Mm.
people failed that
Failed or
course or
didn't
didn't
continue.
finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I want to do this thing. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go and
Let's
do
try
it.
it. Let's try
Yeah.
it out. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think really that's where it came from, and I decided that that's it. Let's go ahead. And then to actually make the pivot into the business intelligence world and data analytics
Yeah.
and stuff, that comes from my year in industry.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I don't know if you want me to talk more about it now or
I
when
think
we
if it's going to answer the question, then let's talk about your year in
okay.
industry. Yeah.
So in my year in industry, in Deloitte, Botswana, I
Yeah.
was so so first of all, let me address the issue around how placements can be so difficult. For me,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
was very difficult to find a job. Like it was
Yeah.
hard. Like it was
Yeah.
so hard. Like it got me to a point, I was just like, yes, I'm boiling. Like, let's just go into the next year. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
will die, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was
True,
so
true, true.
difficult trying to find a job, juggling second year,
Mm.
work, which is in essence the hardest year in actuarial science,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
first year you're still just learning.
Still learning
It's
the
okay. It's
basics,
the basic
trying to
stuff,
build your foundation.
right?
Second year, you're
Second
diving deep.
year is when Bantanipa and they're like,
Yeah.
now you're here.
Let's fight now.
So yeah, so it was really, really difficult for me to actually find a job in the UK. And like you've already said, it's very competitive. Like
Yeah.
I'd come close on quite a few placements,
Yeah.
gone for the interview, for their workshops. What did they
Mm.
used to call it? The workshop days or whatever.
Oh yeah, the
And
assessment centers and
the
everything.
assessment centers, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it came now to decision time, it was always, oh, there were so many great candidates,
Oh
but we
gosh.
regret to inform you. And it's like, guys, again,
That
again.
email.
But I think like looking back at it now, I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't do like the whole year in the UK.
Mm. Yeah.
Because if I had done the whole year in the UK, I don't think I would have had the experience that I would have had. I don't think I would have been um I don't think the doors that had opened would have been open to me.
Would have been opened, yeah. Because I'm
So,
guessing, yeah,
mm,
sorry to cut you there. I'm guessing it wasn't just an issue of gaining experience, but also building that professional network that I
exactly.
think being in like in different geographic environments affords you that opportunity to build a very broad professional network. So I think that's something that also helped you
Mm.
out as well in the
Yeah,
future. Yeah.
no, definitely, definitely. And I think, okay, so the point when I decided, okay, I'm gonna go try for a year in industry back home,
Yeah.
was really at a point where I'm like, the UK is not working out. Let me try back home.
Hmm.
And even in trying back home, there were some things back home where I'm like, I think if I were back home, it would be easier for me to deal with these things, family stuff,
Mm.
which we often don't have the luxury of being able to like be a part of or being able to
Oh
deal
yeah,
with effectively. So I
that's true.
decided, okay, you know what? I am going to I'm going to come back home. I'm going to try to come back home. So I started emailing a lot of people, a lot of different people. The education attaché in the UK was kind enough to actually
Mm.
give me some contacts as well,
Yeah.
because there'd been a few instances when I'd gone to go and see her, and we just chat
Yeah.
about being a student in the UK and my dreams around what I want to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think she generally just took a liking to me. I'm not really sure why, to be fair. But she was kind enough to share some contacts in the industry, and she gave me a few business cards. She's like, speak to them, whenever you're looking for a job or whatever, you can let them know that you got their contacts from me, da da da. So I'd email a few people, some people, their emails I got from LinkedIn,
Yeah.
um, and also like a few of my mom's contacts. I say a few, but it's really one of my mom's contacts.
Yeah.
Um, and I wouldn't get a lot of responses from them.
Yeah.
Go Deloitte, I got an email address for one of the senior partners by audit at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I emailed her because she was the only person who I had any sort of contact, or I could have any sort of contact with
Oh,
within
yeah.
Deloitte, because I didn't know anybody else there.
Yeah.
So I emailed her and I said, look, these are my qualifications, is what I'm studying. I'm interested in an internship there, da 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 da. She got back to me to say, look, that we don't have a place for somebody with your skill set right now. So unfortunately, we can't give you a place.
Yeah.
In that contact, yeah, my mom, who happened to be her friend, worked at a different company.
Yeah.
So she tried with that company, and unfortunately, like within the finance department, and unfortunately, they really said that they don't have room to take me
Yeah.
in. But what
Yeah.
did she do? She had contacts where? At Deloitte.
At Deloitte.
And she spoke to the business, like the business lead for Deloitte at the time,
Yeah.
wonderful lady who became a very important part of my story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she spoke to her and she's like, look, bright student, these are her papers, these are her transcripts, da 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 da. If you have
Yeah.
any room, please like
Please
give
take
her a
her. Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Now I receive an email later on from Mrs. Rita Lombard from Deloitte, and she's like, look, we got your request for an internship. I think it's really interesting what you're studying.
Yeah.
Like, you're really bright, da da da. Let me know when you're in the country and let's have a chat so that you can
Yeah.
come and do this internship. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what? No interview,
Oh,
nothing. Really?
so real. My goodness.
And this was after I decided, okay, that's it. I'm not applying for jobs anymore. This is just too taxing. I am going
Mm.
to focus on finishing my degree and then we'll look for work afterwards.
Yeah.
And I got this invitation and I'm like, bet, excuse me, what's the process? What are the papers that I have to fill in?
That I have to
Um,
sign and I
right?
have to
Yen
go.
industry people, I am leaving. I got a job.
Oh,
And
goodness.
even
Yeah.
starting with that job was a bit difficult because at my university there are certain requirements that you have to fulfill in
Yeah.
order to actually take a job, i.e., that job should be paying you enough for you to sustain yourself.
Mm.
So what they said is for you to live off of, right? And that was
Yeah.
one of the things that I would like email people. Look, as part of my internship, I need to be earning some money, blah blah blah. And obviously, mo Botswana, internships for people who haven't finished university is something
Yeah.
that's not very popular, or at least at the time when I was looking for a job, it wasn't very
It
popular.
wasn't very popular.
So
Yeah.
they're just like, hey, they want you to have to earn money.
To
Ah,
earn a salary without a degree.
and it's like, hey, and they say live off of, not survive,
Live
but live
off
off
of.
of. And
Live
I was
off
like,
of.
yes.
Maybe.
So I
Yeah.
think for Deloitte, they're the only company that were like, okay, yeah, we can pay you something, right?
Yeah.
But that's something that they were offering according to my university. They're like, this is really low. Um, you have to prove to us that you would be able to sustain yourself. So I spoke to DTEF
Mhm.
through the education attaché, and I said,
Yeah.
look, I've got this really great opportunity. This is what these people are offering to pay me, but my university is not satisfied with it. Could
Yeah.
you not supplement
Hmm.
this so that I can be earning a level e leng gore my university can sign off on.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, give us a budget. What do
Mm,
you want to earn? And you have to give us proof that, this is what you would need to be able to
mm,
properly live and do your
to
job and
live
blah,
off
blah,
of.
blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a budget, found the quotation. It's about internet, and yeah, because like my university were like, you have to have internet, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I drew up this budget. I sent it to the education attaché and say, look, this is how much are we earning? This is how much extra I would need from you to be able to take this up. Submitted
Yeah.
all of those things to my university and Lebonaba, the education attaché,
Yeah.
and God being God, ebe ho kgonagala,
Yeah.
and everything was signed off. And I was good to go. I got to
Mm,
Botswana. I arrived. First meet with Rita. We had a
yeah.
chat. Like it was like I was ready. Interview. You know how in industry, they teach you how to get ready for your interview, your placement.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Answering
And
these
I
questions, STAR
right
technique, card technique, all those
research,
things.
do research on the company. Wait, I was ready. Yeah. We
Yeah.
got there and we chatted. We chatted with Rita, and she got to know me a
Yeah.
bit more. She got to know me a bit more, and she was like, "Okay, so when can you start?" I was like, "When are the interview questions coming?" In my head, obviously.
You're not even like, oh, I'm starting. It's like, wait, where's that step of the interview? It's now been ingrained in you that hey, there's a process here. And if
Exactly.
that process is not there, if something is missing in that process, then really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, when can you start?" I was like, "Can I start in 2 weeks?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, sure. Take your time. You can start in 2 weeks." I'm like, "Cool, that's nice." So I got a bit
Wow.
of a break to kind of gather myself because kind of I'm going to be moving to Botswana again
Oh
and
yeah.
have to kind of get my footing and everything. So I took those 2 weeks and then I started.
Yeah.
And during my year in industry, which is now coming to the question around, how I got interested in data analytics or
Ability.
business
Yeah.
intelligence.
Yeah.
Um, so within consulting, I was stationed across different service lines.
Mm-hmm.
So within consulting, there was um, data analytics, there was
Yeah.
human capital, there was finance, corporate finance,
Mm.
um, there was strategy and operations.
Yeah.
So I worked across all of those. So everything within consulting, any project I could enter, I was the
You
gal.
worked all of those. And
Yeah,
like
but mhm.
having, sorry to cut you there, but like having worked in like all those, different parts, what was the duration of each? How much time did you spend in each role? Was it a month? Because this is like a year-long placement, so I'm assuming 12 months. So how much time would you spend in one role before rotating to the next?
All at the same time. There was no rotation. It was
Wow.
there are different projects that are here.
Okay.
This is what we need to do. You available? Yes. Okay. There's this that we need to do with this project.
Okay.
In human capital. Look, there's some work in data analytics. So data analytics was the main service line A what I was stationed in.
Okay.
So all the projects that data analytics, I was pretty much there.
Mm.
But where there was a little bit of a gap,
Yeah.
they would also allow me to do strategy and operations work,
Oh, wow.
human capital, corporate finance. But I think the
Mm.
two that I mainly did, quite a lot of work in was your data
Yeah.
analytics.
Yeah.
And I think strategy and operations would have been like number two,
Hmm.
um, in terms of time and just the different things that I did there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from my placement year, I fell in love with data analytics. Like it made sense. Like it made
It
sense.
made more sense than actuarial science now, the
Yeah,
one that was making sense before.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I since then, really, I haven't looked back. Like
Mm.
I during my placement year, like the people who worked with me, they'll tell you that I was really big on I want some actuarial experience because I didn't get any on that placement, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Rita, bless her soul, Sham, she's then spoke to Deloitte in Joburg,
Yeah.
and they sent me over there to get a few, was it a week or two,
Yeah.
at the Joburg office within
Yeah.
their actuarial science
Mhm.
department,
Yeah.
understand how they work, get to do some activities there,
Yeah.
a bit of work. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. And I came back and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then while I was there still, which is something that's completely unheard of, but I got a chance to then also apply. But that I applied for a summer internship at the Deloitte office, Ego Leads, within their pensions department,
Okay.
because I was really big on I want to get some experience that is aligned with the course that I'm
The
studying.
course I'm doing, yeah.
Yeah. And the team go Botswana were really, really supportive. They wrote
Yeah. Yeah.
testimonials. They really helped me out.
Yeah.
And I finally got that job. And when I
Amazing.
was there, I was like, but I think that stuff I was doing in Botswana it was more me than this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think having had both experiences, it then allowed me
Mm,
to see what I liked, what I don't like, what I'm good at, what I
yeah.
prefer, what I suck at.
Yeah.
And I then decided data analytics is for me, business
Mm,
intelligence. That's where I'm going.
that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so talk us through now. You've you've done your summer internship at Deloitte.
Yeah.
You're continuing, I'm thinking, with your third year
Yeah.
of university. And then from university, decide because now I love data, I'm going to do my MSc in business intelligence. Did you say? Yeah, business intelligence. And so now getting into industry, like now life beyond university. How you spoke earlier on about, getting headhunted by, was it growth, um, growth metrics in
Matrix. Yeah.
Botswana? Yes. So how did that conversation start? How did they find you? Yeah, how did they find you? I think we also want to get headhunted. We also want to, we want companies to be looking for us.
Yeah.
So how did that conversation with growth metrics start? Yeah, let's go. Let's start there.
Okay, so my conversation with Growth Matrix. So I finished my MSc, right?
Hmm.
After finishing my MSc, that during my whole MSc period, um, and this obviously then also stems from my actuarial science degree, right?
Yeah.
So during the time, yeah, actuarial science, I had this placement officer called Nikki Ellis.
Mm.
Nikki Ellis was a tough ball, guys. Like that woman today, I swear by her. Like she is probably the best placement officer that anybody could ever ask for.
Yeah.
Employability, she's got it like that. Like she's
Yes.
like, right?
She knows her stuff.
She will teach you how to sell yourself and
Wow.
not sell yourself in a way e leng gore is superficial and all of that.
Mm. Yeah.
She will teach you how to take what you have done, what you think is insignificant, and she will show you the significance of it,
Of what
and
you're
how to
doing. Yeah.
craft it in a way that tells a story about who you are, what your skills are,
Mm. Yeah.
and how to actually make yourself, you know,
Yeah.
beautiful to an
Very attractive to the
employer,
job market,
right?
to employers. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, having gotten all of that, I then decided, you know what? I Nobody's going to think I'm wonderful if I'm just here, just here.
Just here.
So I
Yeah.
then decided, okay, I'm gonna do a bit more work on putting stuff on LinkedIn. The different things that I'm doing, I'm gonna put them on LinkedIn. I
Yeah.
started blogging as well. Generally just because I think I like talking in my head. And the things that I talk in my head make sense to
They
me. So I
make very
think
sense, a lot of sense. So I'm like,
so I
yeah, let me get that
like at the
down.
time, yeah, like at the time when I started the blog, I was like, I think other people will appreciate this as well. It's my point of view. And even if they don't appreciate it, it's fine. Let them know. Let them know what I'm
Let them
thinking,
know
you
that
know?
I can also write very smart things here.
But when I started out, I didn't start it for human consumption. I was like, one day,
Mm,
um, these views will mean something.
Yeah.
And I just started jotting down my thoughts about different things, mainly like, psychosocial issues.
Oh yeah.
Um, and yeah, just my thoughts around things like that. Hey, now I'm thinking it's been a while since I've vlogged. I actually miss it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I started this blog and I was on LinkedIn more. It was a time when I was doing things with the runway more because Ghana,
Mhm.
I founded the runway in 2018. So that was
Oh yeah.
during or towards the end of my
Okay.
placement year.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember being in Leeds when I was
Mhm.
like, okay, this thing is going to kill me, guys. Or like thoughts about this thing and just this sort of pulling towards starting this thing. If I don't
Yeah.
do something about it,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
So let me do it. And that was before I finished with my year in industry. So that was still
Okay.
undergrad. So now imagine the traction that we've gotten, the different activities that we have done at the end of now my postgraduate
Yeah.
degree. So my LinkedIn account was it was really interesting. Like I mean, even me, when I went there, I would feel like, yeah, no, this is nice, guys.
This is
See, they can go
great.
there and they can see the different videos because there were a few videos, say,
Mhm.
I'd been featured in and I was speaking about different things.
Yeah.
Um, so they could see as well my degrees and all that I had
Mhm.
studied, the different
Yeah.
work experience that I'd gotten over the years, even as young as I was,
Mhm.
uni. There were a bunch of different things that they could actually look at and were quite interesting, which is
Yeah.
also, I think, something that is very important. A lot of students, and I think this is one of the things that you were interested in talking about, they feel
Yeah.
like they don't have work experience. How do I
Oh
make
yeah.
myself marketable? The truth
Yeah.
is, just because you've never had a job does not necessarily mean you don't have relevant skills
Oh yeah.
for work.
For
And on
work. Yeah.
top of that, you you can get work experience in different ways. You don't necessarily
Mhm.
have to wait to be hired. You don't even have to be paid to get that work
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Volunteer, which is,
Mhm.
the community service work that we were doing like at high school, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learn some things. And my
Mm.
very first job, I worked as a tutor.
Yeah.
And this was Form 4. I
Yeah.
wasn't earning, actually, it was actually a good amount of money that I was earning. Like
Okay.
it wasn't um like cumulatively, it wasn't like a huge amount, but
Yeah.
the hourly rate was really good.
The hourly rate was great. That's
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
And, a lot of these things sort of build up, and you can then show people that, look, I'm not just a little gal from university who knows
I
nothing.
can do big
You know,
things. I
I
dream big. I can achieve big
exactly,
things. Yeah.
exactly. And more than dreaming, I've done some stuff.
Oh, yeah,
And it might be
definitely.
at a small scale, but
Yeah.
I know I've got something to offer you,
I've
you
got
know?
something. Yeah.
And I think more than anything, even outside of the quote unquote work experience that was quite interesting to actually look at on LinkedIn, um, I think just being interested in things around you and actually showing an effort towards that interest.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did while I was still a university student
Yeah.
is my mom not going to about an intern that they had at their work who seemed like she wasn't doing very well, like
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah.
And obviously, as an intern on the government program, she wasn't really earning that much either.
Yeah.
So it's like she used to tell me that, hey, Mauta Batla, she has a few clothes because you can see from the way that she actually repeats the clothes that,
Mhm.
you know, there's not much that she can come to work with.
Yeah.
And it seems like she also has like a small child. So obviously supporting that child can't be
Yeah.
easy. And, that story really touched me. And I started a donation drive.
Yeah.
She knew absolutely nothing about it, and I didn't want to say anything to her or get her involved in it because I didn't want her to feel any, sort of shame around
Yeah.
this whole thing. And I wanted people to give without necessarily attaching a face to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I sort of hate this notion of, oh, look at this person. Ba
Giving
sotlega.
this amount of money to this person also and
Hey, like I hated
it's
it so much. Like I
mm,
hate it. It's not something say lo worry. I stopped hating. I still hate it even
you
now.
still do. Yeah.
So I started this donation drive and I'm like, look, guys, there's somebody who I am collecting clothing for, as well as collecting clothing for a child.
Yeah.
And um apart from the clothing, you can give me toiletry stuff,
Mm,
washing up stuff,
yeah.
and if not that, then money.
Yeah.
And um, I will stay completely transparent to the public because it's something that I actually put out on Facebook. I was like, I'll stay
Yeah.
completely transparent, Facebook and LinkedIn. I
Yeah.
said, I'll stay completely transparent. I will give you guys reports of everything say lo hore I receive. I'll take pictures. I will stay accountable to you. But
Accountable
please
to you.
partner with me in doing this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So bunch of people gave. Like I ended up Gisa like a huge suitcase full
Wow.
of clothing.
Wow.
There were and there was a bit
Mm,
of money as well, and there were things
yeah.
for the little boy as well, which was really really
Oh,
great.
yeah.
And we ended up very private, very discreet.
Yeah.
No pictures were taken of her or her living situation or
Okay.
anything like
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
The only thing
Yeah.
that was actually shared was the clothing items and the stuff that were donated. Um, and from that little project that I had devised myself, I
Yeah.
then saw it as an opportunity to then showcase my skills on other things. So what did I
Mm,
do? I developed like a project management sort of workflow thing.
okay.
And I used a spreadsheet where I was managing all the things that were coming in, and I turned
Yeah.
it into a quote unquote work project that I could
Oh,
then
wow.
sort of use to potential
Yeah.
employers to showcase,
Yeah.
look, this is a real life thing that I've done.
That you've
Um,
done. Yeah.
yeah. So it's not just I've gone to school and I've learned this and that.
Mm,
I know how to actually use these things and I've used it in real life.
mhm.
It may not have
Yeah.
been at a work thing, but
Yeah.
it's something valuable that you can actually use.
Yeah.
And I think over and above that, work with the runway and just meeting different professionals, having different like seminars, webinars,
Mm,
employability, skills development webinars specifically, really
yeah.
helped me to know how I can actually penetrate particularly the Botswana market. Because as
Yeah.
an international student, that's not something that's very easy. You
Easy to
don't,
do.
yeah, it's not like you don't have the the privilege of having a network in the same way
Mm,
that Moto Oilonghore has studied locally actually is able to build. I
mm,
think it was different because I managed to actually do my placement year here, which was
yeah.
really, really great and at helping to like kickstart my building that network.
Yeah.
But obviously there was still something that was lacking, right?
Mm,
So I learned a lot. As much as I was pioneering what the runway was doing, I was
yeah.
learning so much. And
Yeah.
by the time I finished, I realized, okay, employers just want to see one, that you're interested in the thing
Yeah.
that you say you can do. You're interested in this
Yeah.
work that they potentially want to hire you for. Two,
Definitely.
that you can actually do some work over and
Mm,
above just studying and passing your exams or doing your
yeah.
coursework. You can actually do real life work.
Yeah.
So you can actually say, look, I've done this, I've done that, I've done that, right?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily even in a work environment. And even more so, if you take the initiative to do something outside of being supervised and da da da, that shows leadership skills. So
Mm,
as a student, you can be able to do. And I think I was privileged to have the opportunity to learn these things before I needed them.
yeah.
So I built a really great portfolio on LinkedIn. Yes, I'll say it. It was great, guys. It was really
Yeah.
great.
It
Like
was the
I'm
greatest thing ever.
telling you,
You're
like,
looking back on it and you're like, wow, man, I
mm,
was really building something good here. And
right?
like, even if I'm not as active as I was in it, it's still its impact still echoes to today.
Exactly. Like it
Yeah,
did its job. Like I haven't I haven't posted or updated my LinkedIn profile in such a long
for
time
a long time. Yeah.
because I feel like, hey, guys. LinkedIn, there's no time for that right now. But at the time, it was very important to me because I wasn't going to be headhunted or discovered from under a rock.
From under a rock. You had to
Yeah.
make yourself visible. Yeah.
So visibility was quite a big thing, and that's how
Yeah.
um I was headhunted.
That growth
So
matrix.
yeah, so Growth Matrix, the viewer at Growth Matrix came across
Mhm.
my profile.
Yeah.
So he was looking for somebody with my skill set, as you
Yeah.
know, fate would have it. And he came across my profile and he's like, this is really interesting. If anything,
Yeah.
let me just have a conversation with this person. Let's see where it takes us. That's what he says.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says, he's just like, I don't know if this person will take me seriously. Let me just, reach out to them and see if anything can come of this.
Mm. Yeah.
And he literally sent me an inbox on LinkedIn. He's like, look, I went through your profile. I think it's really
Mm.
interesting. Let me know when we can sit down for a chat.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm free on such and such a date. We can
Can
chat.
definitely chat. Yeah.
I don't remember if the first meet was like virtual or if it was physical. But I
Mm.
think it was virtual actually. So we talked and he just really it was just a chat really. He found out about me. And because I wasn't thinking, oh, this is a work interview, this is a
This
work
is
interview,
a
I
work.
really wasn't thinking that.
You were
Make it
just
go out there.
flowing. You were just
Exactly.
talking, you were just being your authentic self,
Exactly.
not under the pressure of, oh, Ghana, this is an interview. I have to put my best foot forward.
Yeah.
But I think that also really speaks to how when you naturally live out what it is that you believe and what it is that you do, and you're able to express yourself very well, whether you are in a formal interview situation or just having a casual conversation, I
Yeah.
think your capabilities and abilities will flow, and you'll be able to express those. And so I think it's quite important that students really build the ability to just communicate
Mm,
well, express themselves well,
very important.
know who they are, know their skill sets, what they bring to the
Mm,
table, and whether that is in a formal or just a casual conversation, they will be able to just sell themselves either way. So I really love
mm.
how you've just spoken about that conversation, how casual it was, but it actually bore some fruit.
Yeah, it really, really did. So after that casual conversation, he's like, "Oh, okay, cool. It was really nice talking to you. We'll talk a bit more." I'm like, "I no
Yeah.
problem." I went
Mm.
away from that feeling like, "Oh, this was a really nice chat.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to actually talk to somebody about the stuff that I've done. It's really interesting to actually talk and understand what type of work he does, you know?"
Mm.
So really it was just an informal chat. He's
Yeah.
like, look, I've spoken to somebody who I work with here, one of the more senior guys on my team, and if you don't mind, like, can we have like a joint call with this person as well? I'm like, yeah, no problem, cool.
Yeah.
And then we had a second call,
Mm.
um, spoke to one of the senior consultants, and after that, they're like, okay, we're interested in having you on our team. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, so would like to set up like what is this? Yeah, sort of like an online assessment center, right? So they wanted to give me like a case study, and a bunch of other things that they wanted me to do. And at that point, I was like, oh, snap, these people are interviewing me. When they started
Then
talking
it
about a
clicked that,
case,
hey, guys,
yeah.
there's a job on the line here.
I was like, yo,
Yo,
hey,
Pako,
is this is what we're
this
doing,
is what
guys?
we're doing.
And then I started to freak out, obviously.
Oh gosh.
That's when I
Oh, the
proceeded to
human
freaking
tendency
out.
to freak out and panic and be like, oh my goodness, what's
Exactly.
actually going on here? What do I
Mm.
do?
And, I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So we did the case study. I
Mm.
felt like with sort of this case study, it's just impossible. I'm not able to finish. I didn't finish a lot of things. And I just,
Yeah.
when you start beating yourself up and you're just like, ugh,
This,
you know?
yeah. Yeah.
And I think the one thing that I used to console myself was, must I didn't apply for the job.
I didn't inflict this pain on myself.
Exactly. I was just like, it's
I
fine.
didn't,
It's like, I
yeah,
mean, I didn't lose anything. It's not like it's fine.
it's okay.
Right? Lo and behold, a few days
Mm.
later, they're like, look, we want to have you on our team.
Wow.
Like like, I think it would be quite interesting for you to come on board. Da da da.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity with a really big client that we think you would be interested in. It is within a data analytics team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bet, let's do it. They're like,
Let's
yeah,
do
so
this.
yeah, so we're trying this whole data analytics thing out because they didn't have a data analytics team at the time. So I
So
was
they
in
were
essence the data
building.
analytics team.
Okay. So I can see how
So
this now flows into you founding Zaidi. But like,
yeah.
yeah, let's continue with the metrics before we get to
So
Zaidi. Yeah.
yeah, so in essence, I was the first building block in their data analytics and business
Mm,
intelligence team.
yeah.
Did some really big projects um
And yeah.
with this particular client. I don't know if I should say what client it is because I didn't actually ask for permission. But
Yeah. It's okay. It's
um,
okay. Privacy, confidentiality, very important
I
things.
don't know if
Yes.
yeah, but I don't know if it's but anyway, so the
Mm,
client nailed up Swana.
hmm.
And at the time, they were also building their data analytics capabilities
Oh
within the
wow.
company. And so I was seconded to Devswana. So obviously, they were doing some pretty exciting stuff, and I got to do some pretty exciting stuff. I learned so much
So
in my time
amazing.
there. I got to interact with a lot of different people. Ba e leng gore some I'm still in contact with even today. And, it was just that sort of building that network, going
Mm,
forward. And yeah, I stayed with Growth Matrix for quite some time. And then after a while, I was like, okay, I think it's time for me to go and now do my own thing.
yeah.
Um, and hi, yeah. Leaving wasn't easy. I'm going to be honest, leaving wasn't easy
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I think I, I felt very close to the people by what I worked with. Um, and there were a lot of conversations around, look, I want to go, but then I stayed, and then
Yeah.
after some time, I was like, okay, I think it's time now. And the Bua who had originally recruited me was like, "I okay, it's fine, you can go, it's fine." And I think we we built a relationship not just with the peer but with the whole team. Kgone Growth Matrix, that even today still bears fruit because when they have big projects and they need somebody to come in and do heavy lifting, they're like, okay, Pako, please come in. O tle go re
Come
thusa
in.
with such
Yeah.
and such.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think over and above just wanting to get headhunted and wanting, employers to see you, I think it's very
Mm.
important the work ethic that you actually bring to that work environment. What are
Oh
you
yeah.
actually doing when you get your foot through the door? Because it will
Yeah.
determine, one, whether you stay within those
Mm.
rooms that you are
Yeah.
introduced to.
Yeah.
Two, whether you get to walk into bigger rooms, even beyond
Mm.
that. Because
Yeah.
especially within the Botswana market, if you're talking actuarial science, if you're talking data analytics and business intelligence,
Mm.
it's a very small market. So everybody knows
Mm.
everybody. So don't think
Oh
that if you
yeah.
went and did a shoddy job at some work and "Kore go ke mathata hela," you can go and
Yeah.
start over somewhere else. Yeah, fine, you
Uh,
can do that, but o tlhaloganye gore that person is gonna end up knowing what you did in your last
what you
job.
did in that in the
Yeah.
last job.
So it's I think it's really important to always bring your A game.
Mm.
Work on yourself.
Yeah.
Like make sure that you are a quality person and you bring quality to the different environments
Mm.
and spaces
Yeah.
that you're in because
Yeah.
that will help you to be able to stay in those spaces and also access other spaces and even bigger
Hmm.
spaces and opportunities beyond that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and really, I think this is something say long gore, I drew even from my year in industry
Yeah.
because Rita, who was the business lead for Deloitte,
The Deloitte, yeah.
when I started my own thing, she was actually one of my first clients.
These clans, wow.
So you know, it just keeps going. It keeps
It
going.
just keeps going.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is such an amazing thing to hear. Um, and I think you've spoken a lot about, the soft skills that you've built, being able to express yourself clearly, to communicate well, to be able to build teams, to be able to lead teams as well. Transparency and accountability are things, traits that, employers look for in potential candidates that they look to hire. And so I think it's quite important that we build those. Now, looking at the technical skills now, because I think you actually need a very strong technical toolkit to do the job that you're doing. Data, it's a growing industry. Everyone is talking about data. Everybody needs data. They say data. What is it? Yeah, data is needed everywhere. And so what is the data toolkit that you build, what is the data toolkit that you've built, and how would you encourage young Botswana students like me looking to get into the data industry? Um, how would you encourage us to build that technical toolkit?
She's that's the hard question, actually. Um, what is my data toolkit? Obviously, the
Let's start there.
fundamentals you'll learn at university, right?
Mhm.
Um, a quantitative analysis of different sorts,
Yeah.
the different types of data analytics, your descriptive, diagnostic, and
Mm.
what's this? Predictive, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously it would be the softwares that you use, learn how to use them. So first start with actually engaging with what you have at university, right?
Yeah.
But then I think leaving university, I discovered that I knew bits of a lot of different things
Mm.
that I wasn't really sure I could really do much with
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of like Excel. Like Excel, I felt
Oh,
like, no, Gababula, Hannah,
yeah.
I'm killing
This is
it,
my thing.
right?
This
And
is my thing.
yeah, right. And I learned to do quite a lot of things on Excel,
Yeah.
VBA as well on Excel. Um, and a lot of things that are supposedly quite challenging and a lot of people don't actually know how to do on Excel. I was able to do that. So
Wow.
advanced Excel.
Advanced Excel.
Um,
Okay.
and then after getting your advanced skills in Excel, I also did some SPSS
Hmm.
for the machine learning stuff.
Yeah.
Um, what else did I do? I did work on prescriptive analytics using this
Mhm.
software called Cplex.
Mhm.
Um, I really loved prescriptive analytics actually
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I feel like prescriptive analytics is in essence what businesses are most of the time asking you to do
Asking you
when
to do.
when you get into um their businesses or when you do different projects. They're like, okay, I
Mm.
have a problem. What do I do about it? And with prescriptive
Mm.
analytics, you in essence say, okay, what is my goal? This is my goal. Okay, what resources do I have? These are the resources that I have. Okay,
Mhm.
with these resources and with these constraints, how do I reach my goal? So yeah, prescriptive analytics.
Yeah.
Um, basic math, okay, not basic, but advanced mathematics. Not
Yeah.
the admit that we learn at school, not just that, but um, mathematics beyond addition, multiplication, division. Um,
Mm.
being able to think in word problems. Like back in primary, they used to be the original, like I say original arithmetic, but like the
Yeah.
actual number arithmetic. And then
Yeah.
we used to have these word problems where you would read a
Mm.
story and then you're supposed to
Mm.
draw out what the mathematics
What
is
the
from that.
mathematics is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then be able to actually build a problem and then solve that problem just
Mm.
from that word
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
I think I learned that a lot of life and work is that
Mm.
you won't get the numbers on a platter all the time. A lot
You
of the
have to
time
draw
it
them
is a
out yourself.
story. Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
So I
definitely.
think that is it's not a soft skill, it's a technical skill
It's a technical skill,
because
yeah.
yeah, because you need to be able to analyze a problem well enough for you to actually pick those different things out.
Mm,
See through what is important, what is noise, what will have an impact or what will be important to actually solving the
mhm.
problem.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, so I think leaving university, those are in essence the technical skills that I got. When I got into the workspace, a
Yeah.
lot of that did not matter.
Oh, wow. So are we
I
just
think,
going to school for nothing if it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna matter?
I think, I think you know what? I think at
Mm,
university we learn how to think and we learn how to solve problems. And
yeah.
then the tools and the techniques that you ultimately then use to solve those problems, you learn more in the workspace than you do at university. But
Hmm.
having the fundamentals from university is very important.
Is very important.
Yeah. So when I left university and now started doing work, um, my biggest teacher was YouTube.
Oh,
My
yeah.
biggest teacher was YouTube and
Yeah.
Google. I don't think I've ever stopped being a student because, especially as a consultant now, as
Yeah.
the founder and probably the most senior person in my team,
In your team, yeah.
I I need to keep learning.
Mm.
And with each new project, it's like, okay, this is something I've never come across before. Let's learn,
Let's
right?
learn. Yeah.
So I think the skill of learning, I know what
Mm.
it might be seen as a soft skill as well, but I think it's quite technical in that you need
Mm.
to know how to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and you need to have some sort of method around it such that
Mm.
it is something that is effective. Gore ga o
Mm.
sena le o ithuta selo, you know how to actually apply
You know
it
how to
to
actually
the thing.
apply it. Yeah.
Exactly. In the thing
Yeah.
say what you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
There is no, honestly, there's no preferred or prescribed toolkit.
Mm.
Um, what I would say for people who are interested in the business intelligence, data analytics
Yeah.
world is learn the fundamentals and be good at the fundamentals at university level.
Mm. Yeah.
And then, even as you are going through university and beyond university,
Yeah.
understand what is relevant, especially in the space that
Mm.
you want to get into.
Yeah.
When I got into work, visualization tools were a pretty big thing
Mm.
in the space that I was working in.
Yeah.
So I learned how to use Microsoft Power BI like really, really well, right?
Yeah.
Even at Deloitte, we used to use a visualization tool. Of course, then I didn't really do much of the modeling on the visualization tool,
Mm.
but it was more support work on the tool,
On
and
the
then also
tool.
just a bit of, sorry, also just a bit of quality assurance around the mathematics as well.
Mm.
But I think every space demands a different technical toolkit,
Technical toolkit.
and
And yeah.
it's about being adaptive to the environment that you're in and understanding that yes, fine, you might come with all these fancy skills that you come from university with and
Mm.
knowing all these great, how to use all this great software, but ultimately you need to adapt to the environment that you were placed in and use that. Yes, fine, you can introduce them to new technologies, but you cannot change something that you do not first understand.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So you need to
and
first
that you are
understand
not
that.
exactly first understand it and first be a part of it so that you
Oh,
you
yeah.
change it or you adjust it from the inside
Yeah.
as a member, right?
As a member, yeah.
um so I think yeah that there's no real
There's
sort of
no,
prescribed toolkit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's just really being able to learn, being able to adapt.
yeah,
That's, yeah, I think that that is quite good. That's very important. Thank you so much for that. I think now I'm thinking about a potential audience of potential students that may not actually understand the entire world of data, but they are interested in this quantitative field, and they're thinking of how best can they, how best can they diversify their skill set. And data is one of the things that everyone is saying, if you want to be a very attractive job candidate, you need to have some sort of quantitative technical skills in some way, shape, or form, whether that's in data or in actuarial science, whatever quantitative field you're in. So I'd just like for you to just, should I say, because you spoke some very technical jargon, you spoke about, prescriptive analytics, diagnostic, descriptive. So just talk about what those things mean in a way that someone who has no like information about data, so that they can understand like exactly what it is that the data is all about and what these different descriptions mean. Yeah.
Okay. So when we're talking data analytics,
Mhm,
we talk about four different types of analytics, right?
mhm,
And um, they all kind of feed into each other.
mhm.
There's no one that can really stand on its own without
Oh yeah,
necessarily
they're
leaning
all
on or
interconnected.
drawing exactly
Yeah.
from the other. Some call them different types of data analytics, some call them different levels of data analytics.
Mm,
But just know that they're four.
got it.
So there is descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics is, okay, here's the data, here's information. Okay,
Mm,
what does it actually say? What is the average? What is the maximum? What is the minimum? Um,
mhm.
what 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 is, how do I describe this data?
Yeah,
Um, what sort of, what's the word? Distribution can I fit to it?
yeah, yeah,
Stuff like that, right? So
yeah.
that's descriptive analytics, where you get your
Mhm.
maximums, your minimums, your sums, your
Your
averages.
your
How do I
medians,
describe the
means.
data?
Yeah, is it
Exactly.
skewed? Is it negatively skewed, positively skewed, that type of
Exactly.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's descriptive. And
Mhm.
then you have um diagnostic.
Okay.
Hey, diagnostic if you know it, where you use the data to diagnose what a problem is. I think that's
Mhm.
the most simple way of, yeah. Where now you go deeper than just describing the data, you go into the data now and you understand, okay, what story is this data telling
Mm. Yeah,
about this particular business?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we have a sum of such and such, fine, but what does that actually mean in the context
Mm.
of this business? Is this a good thing?
Yeah,
Is this a bad thing? Da 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 da
yeah,
da, right?
yeah.
And then you have um, pres prescriptive, right?
Mhm.
Prescriptive analytics then says, okay, what should I do?
Mm.
So we've described it, we've diagnosed what the problem is. So now, how do I use the information that I have to then prescribe what should be done, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
prescriptive analytics is where you might have problems that they call them knapsack problems,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I've got a certain container, I've got
Yeah.
all these different things that I want to be able to fit into this container. How do I fit
Yeah.
them into this container? How many of them can I
Uh-huh.
fit? Yellow, yellow.
Can fit in there, yeah.
Or things around shortest route
Mm.
problem, where in things like logistics, for example,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I have these deliveries in different places. What is the
Mhm.
shortest route that I can take to actually be able to fulfill all of these? Are there any constraints? Are there any um, deliveries that I need to make before a certain time or whatever?
Mhm.
Do I have a
Yeah.
restricted budget that I have to work with,
Mm.
maybe for fuel or whatever? What is,
Yeah.
yeah. So what is the shortest route to actually getting
Mhm.
to a destination,
To a
I
destination
have?
that you want to reach.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so such things would fall under prescriptive analytics. Ultimately, it's
Mhm.
saying I've got a bunch of information. Um, I have certain constraints, I have certain resources, and I have a goal.
Mhm.
How do I reach that goal? How do I
Mm,
get to where I want to get
get
to?
to where I want to get to.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then predictive analytics.
Mhm.
Predictive
Yeah,
analytics says, okay, we are here right now
yeah.
and we've got all this information. Where are we going?
Where are we
What,
going?
yeah. So how
Mm.
you are in essence, it's the forecasting part of,
Forecasting part of
yeah,
data. Nice.
yeah. Where now you look into the future and try to see what the trends will be in, future times and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
predictive
Yeah.
analytics is, I think predictive and prescriptive is
Mm-hmm.
mainly where your machine learning, AI, that type of stuff would actually kind of fall into.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of the time people tend to talk about machine learning or artificial intelligence as if it is something that is separate from data analytics. No, no.
Work
It's
together.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
same. Same.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I love that you touched on, the part of AI, of machine learning, because I think you know, AI has always been there. In my perspective, it's always been there. I think when generative AI came out, that's when the whole world was awakened to there's
Yeah.
actually this thing called AI, and this is what it can do. And it looks like it's going to
Mhm.
take my job, which is what a lot of people are beginning to say. It's going to
Yeah.
take my job. It's going to do this. Technology is going to take my job. It's going to do all sorts of these things. So I just want you to just demystify some of the myths of job takeovers by AI or technology that we've heard, especially in the data field, because we've seen that, like implementing or leveraging AI and machine learning in like your data processes makes things run smoother, faster, efficiently. It helps you arrive to your solutions much faster. So how would you speak to someone who is skeptical about, leveraging AI in
Mhm.
the data workflow? How would you speak to them to say this AI is your companion, it's not gonna take you
Yeah.
out?
Um, Interesting story actually.
Yeah.
I was watching the movie Hidden Figures again
Mm,
recently, and there was a scene that I thought was so profound that
mm,
I think a lot of us sort of just brush over and not really take to heart.
yeah,
I don't even remember the character's name, sorry.
yeah.
So there was they were doing the whole NASA thing and putting
Mm,
people in space thing, right? But
yeah.
the black women in the movie were ultimately called computers, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Because
remember.
they computed the mathematics, da 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 da,
Mm.
right? Um, and there was a scene when this white lady, please forgive me, I don't know what the actor's name is, was speaking to the heavyset lady or the black lady who was kind of
Yeah.
managing and supervising the computers.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember.
and she said to her, in all honesty, this IBM, because okay, so the black lady said to her, what are they building down there in such and
Mm,
such, unit? And
yeah,
she's like, oh, it's called an IBM, or IBM machine, right?
yeah.
And apparently it's supposed to do like a bunch of calculations within like, obviously much shorter time frame than a person can actually do,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And this lady is like, yay. Oh, and then the lady, the white lady was like, in all honesty, there won't be any need for computers sometime, soon. So that whole department,
Meaning
yeah, it
it's
got
gonna
packed.
be
Homegirl said, "Hi."
that's not gonna happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what did she do? She upskilled. She went and she
Mm,
learned how to actually program this IBM. She
wow.
got a book, learned the language, that thing, and then
Yeah.
she got the computers, who are the
Mm,
people that she's supervising, to then learn how to program this machine.
program this machine. Wow.
And when it came in, there was nobody who knew how to program it, but she
But
did because she had
she did it.
learned how to do it.
Aha.
So, she then went, she got it to start working because it hadn't been working for such a long time. And they were still using computers, even though they had this IBM thing that was supposed to help them with all their calculations.
Yeah.
And she came in, she got it to start working. And now that it started working, they were like, okay, we need people to actually come and help us out. We need hands here, like to run this
Mm.
thing and to continue the
Yeah.
programming, da 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 da. And she was like, don't worry, I got you. What did she do? Went to get her ladies Zabadi computers to come
Yeah.
and now
To
run
come
that
in.
that whole
Yeah.
department.
Yeah.
And I think it's really the same thing with what we're seeing
Mm.
with AI and machine learning now. It's like, okay, cool. I get that there's this whole AI thing, but you need to understand that this thing learns how to
Mm.
actually function this way. For it to
Mm.
learn, it needs to be taught how to do
Mm.
these things. Who teaches it, do you think? It's a
It's
person.
it's a person. Yeah.
Exactly. So, how these things actually start generating ideas or generating whatever, right?
Whatever it
It
is they're
it
generating. Yeah.
it first comes from consuming and eating up a whole bunch of data,
Mm.
learning how this data is supposed to actually function. If something looks like this, if something looks like that, okay, this is a tree. Machine learning,
Mm.
artificial intelligence. Okay, when somebody asks such and such a question, this is what they're looking for. So you go and what? Grab
Mm.
this information from your repository or from the internet, and you can then spit
You,
out this thing, right?
yeah. Yeah.
But where does that all come from? It comes from a person being able to program this
Mm.
thing or teaching
Yeah.
this thing how to actually then function, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even after being created, if you give, oh, we'll take the example, yeah, Excel, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has access to Excel, but what do
Mm.
people mainly use Excel for? Creating reports, adding stuff up,
Mm.
dividing. And then Pako comes in with all the skills, so advanced Excel,
Excel.
and
Yeah.
she comes and she does something, you click a button and the whole thing changes and you're like, hey, wait,
Mm.
what is going on
What
here?
just
This thing is
happened?
running like a machine. So it's it's a manner, like you can't do more with a thing than you know how to do. So AI might be
Mm.
there, but there are still people who generally don't really know how to get the real value out of AI.
Oh,
So
wow.
you, as somebody who understands it, can be able to then draw what you need from it,
Mm. Yeah.
right? So that if you don't evolve with how the times are evolving, with your AI, with your machines, with your data, your IT,
Mm.
best believe you will be out of a job.
Mm.
100%. That one
Wow.
you can bet on.
Yeah.
And it is going to become a threat to you. But
Mm.
if you learn how to use these things, even
Yeah.
before you need to, then one, you
Yeah.
can get ahead of the curve. You can make
Yeah.
yourself valuable at a time when this thing is booming. And there's
Yeah.
this huge bubble around data, big data, whoa, AI, wada wada,
All these
right?
things, all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can be the person in the room because you understand it,
Mm.
you can be the person in the room to demystify it. What I've actually
Mm.
seen, not drawing from my own experiences, is that
Yeah.
clients hear all these big terms, and
Mm.
there are some people that might want to sort of run away with them because bafila hore, oh, this person talked about all these big ideas that
Yeah.
apparently are the future, and I come and I'm like it's not as complicated as you think it is,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Don't like, yeah. So a lot of the time I find myself being the person in the room who, because I understand these things, I am able
Mm.
to then, for lack of a better term, be the voice of reason
Oh, yeah.
to let clients know it's like it's okay, guys.
It's okay. Like to
It's
declutter
okay.
this whole complexity that has been built up
Exactly.
in their minds. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think with people that have that fear, yeah, where, the technology might then make them redundant or
Mm.
all of that. I think my response would be yes, definitely it can and it will if you don't
Mm.
grow and if you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
keep evolving as things evolve,
Yeah.
and make yourself valuable in the changing world. But if you
Mm.
do and you make AI and all these advances in technology your friend, then you
Mm.
can you can set yourself up be to have a nice life.
To
To
have a
have a
nice
nice
life,
life.
to be headhunted by companies like Growth Metrics. No, that is genuinely so powerful. I really, really love the fact that you drew from the analogy of the Hidden Figures movie. That's I've watched that movie before and I never thought about it in the way that you have. So I think thank you so much for bringing that to mind to say, look, if you don't upskill, like if you don't push put yourself out there and push yourself to learn more and to diversify your skill set. When there's a lady that comes and says, and this whole department will be shut down, you can say, no, we won't be shut down because we have been able to upskill ourselves for the new thing that is now needed. So we'll be able to work on that. So thank you so much for demystifying that. I think now I'm just leading on to the use of data technology in other industries because I think before we talk about in other industries, what should I say in terms of your work in as a data consultant, right? What
Yeah.
industries do you usually find yourselves working with? Industries or departments do you usually find yourself working with?
Um, okay. I don't know if I should say usually because that
Yeah.
my experience is not like the whole experience, like even of other
Mm,
people.
mm.
But ones that I've worked in up to this point,
Yeah.
because Lord knows I want to work in others, um, has been in it's been in mining,
Mm.
it's been in audit or financial, yeah, I'll say financial services.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so mining, audit, financial services,
Mhm.
banking.
Mhm.
Um, when I was consulting with other companies when I was still employed, it was also
Yeah.
telecommunications,
Yeah.
um, training.
Mm.
Um, yo,
So many.
yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a
It's a
lot.
lot. It's a lot.
Mm,
It's a lot. Yeah, I thank you for outlining all those for us because I think I want people to have to broaden their understanding of the possibilities with
mm,
data. Like,
mm.
I feel like data is not an industry. I feel like it is a tool. Can you correct me if I'm wrong? But like, it's a skill that you can leverage and apply in whatever industry or space
Yeah,
that you are in. And so I
definitely.
think as you know the world continues to evolve, as technology continues to evolve, it is something that every industry ultimately will need. Data is
Yeah.
something that every industry will need. And so to maybe students that will be maybe the medical students, biomed students, you know, chemical engineering,
Mm,
or aerospace, you know, I'm talking about all these other industries that we don't usually hear about in relation to data. How would
mm,
you encourage them to how would you encourage them to broaden their thinking when it comes to leveraging data and technology in order to diversify their skill set?
mm. I think, as you've rightly pointed out, every space, Malatinga, there's a technology, e leng gore
Yeah,
runs on data, to
yeah,
actually make decisions.
mm,
Every single process e leng gore ya diragala in any industry, like it develops or it creates data, right?
yeah,
And to to think that your industry or your sector is
mm.
not related to data is already making yourself redundant
Gosh,
because
gosh. Okay.
because because in truth, gompieno, if we talk about geology, for example,
Yeah.
geology is the study of rocks and all of
Mm,
that stuff, right?
yeah.
Within geology, go na le batho ba e leng gore um ba dira can use data to one be able to understand or predict
Mm,
or speculate whether
yeah.
a certain area has um, diamond, for example,
Mm,
based on
yeah.
the data that they get from
That
the
they
earth.
get. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, when we are talking about health and safety, things such as movements in the earth, still geology,
Yeah.
movements in the earth can help you to understand or predict how safe an environment is for you to do certain pieces of work.
Yeah.
And maybe I think a lot of the things that people often think about when they think about data is they think numbers and whatever. But the reality is that even within a science laboratory, there is data is actually used. You
Yeah.
do an experiment, you get some findings from that experiment. There are certain levels of this mineral, certain levels of that, vitamin in whatever it is. That's data, right? So I think let people stop thinking about data as if it is numbers or whatever, pictures, things that you see, that's data.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we talk about things such as natural language processing or computer vision.
Yeah.
What exactly is that? Computer vision is camera e lebella selo and it looks at the shape and all of that, and then it
All
says,
the things
okay,
to do with that.
this
Yeah.
is data. What is this thing, right? So
Mm,
that there's data in everything. And to
mm,
think that your industry doesn't have a day, and how to leverage it, it's in the everyday, it's in the work itself. I don't know how
yeah.
to really answer that question except to say
Mm,
engage with your work and understand that everything, say, not everything, but most of the stuff that is going into the work that you're doing is actually data.
mm,
As you are
yeah.
doing the work, you are producing data.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's very powerful. That's very, very powerful. And as you're speaking, I'm just thinking of those industries that maybe have not fully, should I say, fully understood or reached or are getting to the potential of what data could do in their industries. Um, and I'm thinking of you as an individual. You've managed to, you create spaces for yourself from just the conversation that we've been having. You've managed to create spaces for yourself. You've managed to get your foot into the door. And so thinking about you as someone who's managed to create their own space in the data consulting field, right? Speak to someone who now needs to create their own space in whatever field that they're in, just leveraging data to create their own space, whether that's in chemical engineering, whether that's in medicine, telecommunications, whatever field, whether that's in law as well. Speak to that person to say that you may not find someone who is doing what you want to do, but you can be the pioneer of that. If you can just speak to that person, what advice would you give them?
Um, I think one thing that I don't know if I've learned it or if it's something that I've always felt like I've intrinsically known,
Mm,
is just because something hasn't been done doesn't mean that you can't be the first.
yeah,
And if you are looking for something and you don't know where to find it or you've never found it and or seen it, you can create it.
yeah,
And the fact that you see value in that thing
mhm,
means there must be some level of value in it, right?
yeah, yeah.
And chances are somebody else sees value in that or would see value in it
Would
if
see
it
value in that.
is
Mm,
available to them, right?
yeah,
So I think to any person really that is in any industry where they feel like things can be improved or they see a gap and they feel somewhat passionate about
mhm,
filling that gap, go for it. Like
go for
I
it.
think we overthink things, right? So
Mm,
I had this supervisor,
yeah,
um, go Deloitte. His name is Simon Hirschfield. He's
yeah,
he's one of the directors now.
yeah,
He's he's doing some pretty interesting stuff now.
mhm,
Um, Simon once said something to me that has stuck with me for all of life. He
yeah.
said to me, "Never impede, never impede progress for perfection." So
Perfection.
in essence, that means don't wait until something is perfect for you to actually do it.
Mm.
Keep progressing. You will
Yeah.
keep perfecting it as time
Perfect.
goes
As you
on.
go.
You,
Yeah.
you will never get it right the first time. Just keep
Yeah.
going, keep seeing where the gaps are, keep seeing how to actually improve a thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of draws back to the same thing that I was saying about not being able to effectively change something until you have fully understood it.
Understood it. Yeah.
Yeah. So before you create your own spaces, you actually have to get into the spaces that are available. What
Mm.
spaces are there within your industry? How are things working?
Mhm.
Understand how things are working.
Yeah.
Quite recently, um, one of the consultants, peer consultants, like they are a consultant on another company that
Yeah.
is consulting for a client that, like for
Yeah.
a mutual client.
Yeah.
And they said, um, you cannot automate anything that you have not first done manually.
Mm.
And I think it's true even with improvements or
Mm.
creating spaces for yourself. You must
Yeah.
first get into what is there,
Yeah.
understand it as it is, and then you
Yeah.
can change it, having been kin to that thing as well. And I think
Mm.
that's also some things like that. Oh, who's this? I think was TD Jakes. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was TD Jakes. I've heard
Yeah.
actually saying as well that you, as a young person, you come into
Mm.
these spaces and a lot of young people want to get in and say, oh no, you guys, you old people, you're doing things wrong. This is the better way to do it, without really first understanding why they do it that way in the
Mm.
first place, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like you cannot you how do you know that it would be better to do it your way? How do you
Mm.
know that there is a gap here that I need to create a space for myself, or I can create a space for myself
Yeah. Yeah.
without first actually getting into the spaces that are available?
That already
So
there. That already exist. Yeah.
exactly. So to those people, I would say get into the spaces that are available. Be conversant with those spaces, get acquainted with
Mm.
them. Just
Yeah.
don't marry them. Don't marry the
Mm.
spaces.
Yeah.
Understand them, make friends there,
Mm.
um, and then see how within that space or next to those spaces you can
Mm.
create then a space, a niche for yourself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once you've
Yeah.
actually identified it, go for it.
Go for
Like
it.
you won't die.
You might struggle a little bit, but you won't die. You definitely will not die. Would you say, huh? Okay, let me ask this question. Do you think your life now, the work you do now, would have been any different if you managed to get a placement or, yeah, a placement in the UK instead of having to have come to Botswana? Like if the conditions were favorable, if those assessment centers converted into a full offer, what do you think your life would be different? Your work life would be different now?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
an
you never
interesting
know because it's
question.
never happened, but like, do you think there would be
Yeah. You know
any
what I think?
difference? Yeah.
I think given different scenarios, you will always find your way to yourself.
Mm.
I think even if the scenario the scenario would have been different and things had played out differently and I had gotten a placement in the UK that was completely different from what I did,
Yeah.
I would have eventually found my way to being the same me.
Yeah.
I think it just would have maybe taken longer.
Mm. Or
I,
quite something different. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have taken a different path to actually becoming this version of myself, but I
Mm.
think I would have eventually found my way to myself because I feel familiar with myself. Like it's a very strange concept, and I hope you
Yeah.
understand like when I try to
Mm.
explain it. Kore, have you ever sort of been in a space and you just feel like, no, I don't think this doesn't really feel like me. This
Mm.
it doesn't fit, man.
It
It
doesn't
doesn't,
excite you the
yeah,
way
like
it doesn't speak to you.
it's
Yeah.
it's like it's good. Like I
Mm.
mean, the money is great and I'm good at it, but I don't know, man. There's just
Just don't
something.
feel it. Yeah.
Mm. And I think, hey, ke rata dilo ko teng ke itha ke re. Ke rata ke itha ke re, things always work out, but I feel like I would have eventually found a way to settle into who I truly am, or at
Mm.
least who I am now. I think I'm still evolving. I think there's still more of me to settle into, but
Yeah.
I think I would have eventually found my way to me.
Mm.
Yeah. Of course, the journey would have been different. Maybe I wouldn't have met the same people, but
Yeah.
I think God in his providence would have given me other people to lead me to where I'm supposed to be.
To where you're supposed to go. That's amazing. And I think also just yielding to the process as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, just yielding to that process as well. Like regardless of whatever route or journey you take, just allowing that process to build you, to grow
Yeah.
you, to refine you, and to mold you into the person that can handle that desired person that you are, or yeah, to handle that desired thing that you want, basically just yielding to the
Yeah.
process and allowing it to shape and build you. That is amazing. And so I think we're sort of like now drawing to our close, but
Mhm.
just a few more questions before we conclude.
Mhm.
To Botswana students that are thinking, okay, Pako, you've
Mhm.
come from the UK, you did your degree, your BSc, your MSc, you
Yeah.
went back to Botswana. What if I
Yeah.
want to stay in the UK? What are your thoughts on, students wanting to build their lives in the UK, and what what if any word of advice would you give them to say, okay, you're building your life in the UK.
Mhm.
How do you go about it? What do you do? What would be the difference in terms of establishing your career in the UK versus in Botswana? Yeah.
Okay. Um, I think, and maybe I'm a bit biased because of my own experiences, but
Yeah.
I think when you are in an environment, it is easier to continue on in that environment than it is to be
Mhm.
stationed in a different environment or to start
Yeah.
over in a different environment.
Yeah.
Students who are in the UK are in the UK,
Yeah.
and it is obviously going to be easier for you to find work in the UK than it is for somebody who's in Botswana who wants to find work in the UK.
Mm.
And why do I say that? You have people around you. I
Yeah.
think the power of networking and the power, I don't like to say networking because it just makes it feel so mechanical.
Oh yeah.
But the power of relationships and creating relationships and
Mm.
using those
Yeah.
relationships in a mutually beneficial manner
Way.
is something say
Yeah.
what it is. Between us intellectuals and within intellectual spaces, it is something say long gore sa nyadiwa.
Mm.
I think people generally feel like I need to be awesome at what I do. I need to be the best. Yeah, but then what? After you are the
Mm.
best,
Mm.
then what? I think there's great power in relationships that you can build, right
Mm.
from with your lecturers, to your course mates, your housemates, and
Mm.
even people in the different communities that you will ultimately live in. Your
Yeah.
neighbor could be like your next connection to like a really
Mm.
great, opportunity.
Yeah.
I would say in the same way that we've been talking about building a network, in Botswana as a Botswana student, you might be
Yeah.
studying internationally, but it's important to build that network.
Mm.
Um, right from, your course mates and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now, I do understand that, in a lot of these courses, they know what we go there to do. We find a lot of international students in those
Yeah.
courses,
Versus, yeah.
and they might be able to give you contacts or links to other countries, which also I think is fine, right?
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to stay in the UK, I think having good relationships will definitely go a long way. But
Mm,
understand as well that the UK market is very different, works very differently from the Botswana market. In
mm,
that, in the UK, yes, the relationship will get you through, will get you to the right person to speak to. But once you're there, you kind of have to follow the process and be competitive on that front.
mm,
Um, so first of all, you need to understand the processes and know what the processes are. Um,
yeah,
know what exactly those processes are looking for. And the best
yeah,
way to know what those processes are looking for is to speak to the people who um, are the custodians of those processes. So if you're
mm,
looking for a job in a certain company, um,
mm,
find out what that company is looking for in their job process
mm,
and align yourself in such a way, where you can be able to actually be a good candidate in
yeah,
those spaces.
yeah,
What skills are they looking for? Or
yeah,
what's this? Morgan Stanley,
mm,
in the UK. Find people who
mm,
work there and say to them, look, can you spare a moment? Can I just maybe ask you a
mm,
few questions? I'm interested in working there.
yeah,
Even reach out to the HR department if they're willing to
yeah,
speak to you,
yeah,
and
yeah,
understand what it is that is required of you to actually get into those spaces and be
mm,
um, attractive to them.
yeah,
Um, in the UK, they believe very much in good CVs.
mm,
Understand what goes into having a good CV,
mm,
create a good CV,
mm,
do stuff that
yeah,
makes your CV good.
yeah,
Because it's one thing to create a CV off of lies, they'll be able to sniff that out very quickly
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Um, but if you are then able to build a CV off of really good experience that you've gotten, whether that is working part-time as a student in
mm,
whatever, whether it is volunteering in whatever
yeah,
organization, whether it is even doing um, I think clubs, societies, and stuff like that at
mm,
uni,
yeah,
that will put you in good standing to say, yeah, I mean, this person wasn't just books, books, books. They
mm,
actually have interpersonal skills because they dealt with people. They
yeah,
have leadership skills because they were the leader of a society. They
mm,
are responsible or whatever.
yeah,
They actually look for a job.
yeah,
So I think having a good CV is going to be quite important as well if
mm,
you want to work in the UK.
yeah,
Um, and I think also because you are a student in the UK,
mm,
you have a really great advantage of working at those companies before you work there. And I'll explain what I mean.
mm,
A lot of companies offer placements, a lot of companies offer internships, right?
yeah,
Those are opportunities that you can take up before you even graduate. And with a
mm,
lot of placements, what they do is they fast track you onto their graduate program.
yeah,
So towards the end of your placement, they will sit you down and say, look, we would like to have an interview with you. If you're interested in a graduate position here, we would like to interview you so that you have a position waiting for you when you graduate,
yeah,
if that interview goes well.
yeah,
And then they'll also obviously speak to your line managers and your supervisors to actually understand how you have worked and so on and so forth to see if you would
mm,
be a good candidate for the graduate job. So that's a
yeah,
really great way of, setting yourself up to have a job waiting for you when you
yeah,
graduate.
when you
Right.
graduate.
And then another great way to work at a company before you work there is
Yeah,
their summer placement jobs or
mm,
summer vacation jobs,
yeah,
which is in essence what I was doing go Leeds.
yeah,
I applied for their SV position, summer vacation, summer internship,
yeah,
and I got it. And to get summer internships, honestly, is not as stringent as a placement or as a graduate
mm,
role. They're a
yeah,
bit more laxed, and you can get summer placements from right from first year. You can apply
mm,
for summer
yeah,
internships. So it's
yeah,
really about hitting the ground. If you are interested in getting a summer internship in your first year, it's about hitting the ground running within the first term of uni. Understand what companies you might be interested in, do research on those companies, find out if they have summer placements,
Yeah.
find out what it takes to get into the summer placement
Mm,
program and work towards that, you know?
mm,
And then in a similar way with the summer placements, they also have, or some of them have opportunities for fast tracking to their graduate program,
graduate
especially
programs,
if
yes.
especially if you're a penultimate student,
Oh, yeah.
penultimate year student.
Mm,
um, they will say, okay, you've joined our summer internship only in your last but 1 year, or yeah.
mm,
So let's have the interview if you're interested, and we
mm,
can take it forward. And a
mm,
senior partner at that firm, for example, will have an interview with you, and that will ultimately be sort of the last hurdle. Whereas other people need to start applying from beginning.
from beginning day.
Exactly. Whereas when you can just go and they take you to the final stage of that internship,
Yeah.
of that interview process, and
Yeah.
you have one interview and you can get a job if you impress the
Mm,
person who's interviewing you, if you've done good work during your internship, you pretty much have a place at that company, right?
mm,
So I think there are different ways that you can sort of create a good standing for yourself.
yeah.
Um, and I think to a large extent, it it will also hinge on you starting that journey sooner, or starting
Mm,
the search sooner,
yeah. Yeah.
and making strides toward that graduate position or that
Yeah.
junior position at that
Yeah.
place when you
Yeah.
graduate.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. That was so insightful. Working there before you work there. I've never heard of that before, but that's definitely amazing. That's definitely amazing. And I think just as we draw to a close, you've spoken so much, and I think so many students are really inspired by what you do. I know that I was really inspired by you before even coming into the UK, when you had when you hosted the runway project seminar before we left to come to the UK. And I think that really just is a testament to you as a servant leader, as someone who really wants to impact people, impact lives, impact communities. And so I'm really grateful for the conversation that we've had today. It's been so eye-opening. It's been so insightful. Speaking about the struggles of trying to get a placement to eventually pivoting from trying to get a UK-based placement to a Botswana placement, and how that has really helped you build your career. And so my last question would be, do you have any final words of advice or encouragement to Botswana students studying in the UK and Ireland as we build our careers?
Phew, guys, buckle up. And hey, I think being away from home is
Mm,
not easy.
yeah,
Being in the UK is not easy.
it's not easy. Yeah.
It's not, and it's very difficult to explain it to somebody who hasn't been on the
Mm,
journey that we've been on, or been
yeah,
in, they haven't walked a mile in our shoes. So,
exactly.
from the outside, somebody might see all these great things that we have had the privilege of having access to, and be
Mm.
on some like, what's the problem?
What was the struggle there? Government paid
Exactly.
everything for you, but it's like, well,
Yeah. It's a very challenging space to
mm,
be in and to
yeah,
navigate.
yeah,
But there are some who have navigated it before you.
mhm,
So that is a testament to the fact that it is possible to navigate it
yeah,
and come out on the other side, not broken in pieces and just, trying to collect yourself afterwards, but
yeah,
be able to actually thrive on the
mm,
other end. And I
yeah,
think to a large extent, it is, or it can be linked to, or rooted in your ability and your resolve to staying authentic throughout your journey. I know my authentic will not be equal to your authentic, but
Yeah.
if you fight to stay yourself,
Mm.
even through that whole journey, you will remain yourself even on the outside of that journey when you come out on
Yeah.
the other end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll talk, yeah, I don't really want to talk about the cliche stuff. Oh, drugs, alcohol. No. I think when you are away from home, it is far beyond drugs and alcohol, but you are now also battling with your mental health.
Mm.
You are struggling to stay yourself in your top achiever status because now you are
Mm.
on a global platform and there
Yeah.
are many smart people around you. And
Many smart people.
exactly. And you're not so top achiever anymore. You are just an average
Mm.
student. And I know how that can sort of knock on your confidence as a
Mm.
person who has, had this sort of title of being the
Yeah.
smart one, throughout your
Yeah.
life, and you get to uni and you're like, hey, maybe I'm not that smart.
Yeah, I'm just average.
Yeah. And you like now I appreciate how even the environments we allow ourselves to be in
Mm.
can have an impact on so many different things. Something that is seemingly as small as not being able to have sunlight for
Mm.
extended periods of time, it
Yeah.
impacts you. Like it
It's a
impacts
yeah.
your happiness levels. Mo e leng gore you need to do more
Mm.
to stay happy, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
as somebody who has had an abundance of sunlight all of your life. O e leng gore, now you're in a place e leng gore is so sad and gloomy most of the time.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
can really impact you in a way that you really think is a small thing, but it can have
Yeah.
like mega, mega effects on you.
Yeah.
Um, so I think my advice really would be one, understand that it's possible to navigate,
Mm.
what you are going through now and come out on the other end and come out thriving on the other
Mm.
end.
Yeah.
Two, there's no manual. Everybody's making it up as they go along. So don't
Yeah.
ever feel like you are not doing things quote unquote the correct way.
Yeah.
Because everybody's correct is different.
Mm.
Everybody has a
Mm.
different marking scheme.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
understand what your path is, what your marking scheme is, and stick to it.
Mm.
Yes, take advice from other people, especially
Mm.
people who have walked the path that you are walking, but understand
Yeah.
that your path is not their path.
Mm.
Um, Three, use the resources available to you,
Mm.
whether that is for employability purposes,
Yeah.
or that's just general well-being. Use the
Mm.
resources available to you. There are free resources at your university for
Yeah.
employability, for mental health, for
Yeah.
fitness, for everything
Yeah.
really, for
Yeah.
studying.
Yeah.
You have those resources, use them. Um,
Mm.
I know it can be difficult to sort of pull yourself out of a place that you've never been before, especially if that place is a bit darker than you are used to, but
Mm.
it is possible. And the
Yeah.
fact that you have made it this far is a testament to the strength that you have. So don't
Mm.
lose that strength or give it away to anybody. It's yours to keep and yours to use.
Mm.
So use it. Um, what else would I say? Enjoy yourself.
Oh.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it goes by so quickly. So
Mm.
enjoy yourself. O tlhaloganya
Yeah.
gore it's going to end at some point.
True.
So enjoy yourself, enjoy your time in the UK.
Mm.
Yes, be about the books, definitely, but also be
Yeah.
about making friends, going out,
Yeah.
traveling. Yo, guys, travel,
Please
travel
travel.
in the UK, travel around
Yeah.
Europe, you will meet people, you will experience things that after uni, it's going to
Mm.
be very difficult for you to actually do. You
Do
know,
those
one of the
things.
things
Yeah.
I regret and I wish I had done more of was traveling within Europe because
Mm.
I did a bit of traveling in the UK and that was great. I
Mm.
got to meet other Botswana, I got to meet other people of different nationalities that I'm
Yeah.
still in contact with today. Ba e leng gore I didn't just meet through university, but I was sitting next to somebody on a bus and we struck a good
Mm,
conversation and we found
yeah,
out we have
yeah,
some, a lot of stuff in common. And those
yeah.
people are still, older sisters to me or brothers to
Mm,
me.
yeah.
So travel, have fun, make friends, enjoy the food, eat the food. If you don't like the food, the British food, find the other nationality food that you
Find
can
other
eat.
nationalities. Eat Chinese food, Vietnamese. Try something.
Right? Just have
Yeah,
fun, man,
yeah.
because at the end of it, there's a lot that can make you miserable, but there's so much more that can make you happy as well. So take
Mm.
advantage of it, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I think final one
Mm,
that is going to be very, very important to what I would consider your freedom.
mm,
Save while you have the allowance. Save it.
save
Save it,
it.
save it, save it, because um whether or not you get a job in the UK,
Mm,
whether you get a job in the UK immediately after finishing, or if it takes a bit of time after you graduate for you to
mm,
get a job in the UK, or if you don't get a job in the UK and you come back to Botswana, having some savings to actually float you while you are looking for your job will help you, one, not to be um, desperate for a job and just grab anything that comes. You
mm,
can actually have somewhat of moving or breathing space to actually
mm,
say no, I want to look for a job what is aligned to what I want to do,
mm.
and not be under too much pressure to grab the first thing that comes at you because
Yeah.
you're out of money and your parents are on your neck about a job. you
Yeah, yeah.
can you can actually have a bit of freedom.
Mm,
So save the allowance while it's still coming for
yeah,
free.
yeah. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the conversation we've had today. I've been inspired, I've been encouraged, I've been challenged, but I love it all the way through. And I'm pretty sure our students are just happy to have listened to you today. Is there any way that students can get in contact with you, any LinkedIn, any socials that we can reach out to you on if we want to just engage in a further conversation with you?
Sorry. So I think main spaces that you can reach out to me on socials, LinkedIn and
Mhm.
Facebook.
Okay.
Pako Lekoko on both platforms.
Mm,
Or you can actually just shoot me an email
mhm.
or founder at theglobalrunway.org.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for today. It
And
was
my,
so amazing to speak with you. And who knows, we will cross paths one day in the future.
I'm
Botswana
sure we
students
will.
will Botswana students will cross paths with you and say, we listened to that webinar and you helped us so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you and take care. Thank you so much.
Amen. And you're welcome.